Good morning, folks. How are we this morning? You know, this is Saturday. I have one more day in retail hell, and then I'm off for 2 days, and that's the way my weekend goes. So, today, we're going to talk, okay? Today, we're going to talk about Vladimir Putin, the Ukraine, and Vladimir Putin's convenient idiots right here in the United States. So, just a couple things, okay? I consider this an opinion piece, but I consider this an opinion piece driven by what I have read. Now, I know a lot of people, you know, mock me for doing this, but yes, I do spend a considerable amount of time during the week when I am not working, keeping myself informed about what's going on. And I'm sorry, but let me make a point here. I subscribe to a number of newspapers that have been, of course, maligned as the mainstream media. And I know this because I fell into this trap, okay? I subscribe to the New York Times, the Washington Post. I also subscribe to the Daily Beast. I also subscribe to the Boston Globe. I also subscribe to Counterpunch. I read a lot of stuff. And I also read stuff on the right. And here's what I know. You can say whatever you want, but Fox has been in the news business now for 25 years and has never even won a minor journalistic award, let alone a Pulitzer Prize. In fact, the founder of Fox News, and we have gone over this a number of times, has said he did not care about facts. All he cared about was ratings. That was Roger Ailes, and that's what he's got. He's got a bunch of people like Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham that wouldn't know what an investigative journalist looked like if it hit them in the face. They make shit up routinely. And they use the news for political purposes. They are not news outlets. OAN, it's Trump's playground. If you think I'm going to watch or look at a news media circus that invites people like Mike Lindell and Candace Owen on, you're out of your mind, okay? That is not where I'm going for my news. So, oh, and by the way, let's talk about James O'Keefe. Do you think I'm going to listen to Project Veritas? Veritas means truth. So that's Project Truth. I took Latin. James O'Keefe has been caught numerous times manufacturing the very news he's covering. He hires provocateurs. That's not what news media outlets do. Okay? I have bad news for you. But that's not what they do. The Last American Vagabond, the Corbett Report, that makes tenuous connections between things that have happened before and things that are going on now, that isn't fact. That's conjecture and speculation. It isn't news. So we're going to talk about Vladimir Putin today. You know, I'm going to start off with this shit coming out of the GOP. Let's talk about the GOP for a minute. The GOP uses every calamitous event for political purposes, and that's what they're doing right now with the invasion of the Ukraine. Okay? So before I get on the GOP, let me say one thing about Caitlin Johnstone, who, of course, tweets out, let me see if I can find it here. If not, I can paraphrase it, but I'm pretty sure I might be able to find it. Don't go away. Be patient with the old lady here. All right, here we go. So, This is her tweet. I believe that the situation in Ukraine is a crisis created solely by Moscow and that the U.S. power alliance is just an innocent little flower who is being unfairly blamed. I also believe in Santa Claus because I'm a tiny little child who will believe anything. So that's Caitlin Johnstone's contribution to the political mess going on right now. So let me say something. If I considered that factual, I would need proof of what she's saying. This is the shit where I have a problem, and this is where I get off the boat, although, honest to God, I have never been a worshiper of Caitlin Johnstone. I worship very few people, okay? Caitlin Johnstone is, yes, someone I have read in the past. I agree with her anti-war sentiment, but the world is not as simple as she thinks. Vladimir Putin is an aggressor, no matter how she wants to slice this pie. No, you know what? No nation anywhere in the world is totally innocent of everything. But all of this, yes, is on Moscow. All of it. Because Vladimir Putin is not a good guy. Okay, let's lay that groundwork right now. Vladimir Putin was a very high official, I believe number 2 in charge of the what do you want to call it? What why is this escaping me now? Probably because I'm old. The KGB. He was a very key player, and Vladimir Putin sees the split up of the Soviet Union, the old Soviet Union, okay, the United Soviet Socialist Republic, as one of the most calamitous moments in history for them. He was never on board with all of that peace and love thing, okay? Never. He also has this thing called oil. And he's got an aged pipeline now, an ancient pipeline, and he needs to continue to sell oil to the rest of the fucking world. He's got a lot of interest going on here. And if you think that he will just stop where he is right now, he's already got troops amassed on the border of another country. Vladimir Putin is not a good guy. He's a fucking dictator, people. He's a dictator. He is everything that Donald Trump would love to be. It was a very well-known fact that Donald Trump adored Vladimir Putin. In fact, Donald Trump went on the air this week and called him a genius for what he did in the Ukraine. You know what? When you people make shit statements like you do, you are belittling the suffering that's going on there. There are people dead in the streets in the Ukraine. And you know what? Vladimir Putin isn't denazifying the nation. He doesn't give a shit about that. Can you imagine believing that Vladimir Putin is denazifying the Ukraine and that's why he's doing what he's doing? We have Nazis right here in the United States. And you people better be worried about them. We just had some guy that's running for office in the GOP openly state in a news story that it would be better to have a white nationalist in office than a Democrat. Think about this, people, okay? Think about this. Vladimir Putin is a great statesman. He makes a great show when he's on the air. He makes a great show in front of the camera. He is indeed an authoritarian, a brutal person who is killing people to take over a tiny sovereign nation. And yes, the Ukrainian people are in poverty, and they have been in poverty. And they are growing disgruntled with that. But their reason for being in poverty has nothing to do with themselves. They've had a lot of help from Vladimir Putin. You know, whenever you people come out and make these prognostications, Caitlin Johnstone, all these people, there are people suffering through this. Again, it goes back to the people not giving a shit about anybody but themselves. The politicians saying that this happened because Joe Biden is weak. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the GOP. Let's set them straight from somebody named Fiona Hill. I'm going to tell you who Fiona Hill was. Fiona Hill worked for Donald Trump. She is a specialist in Soviet affairs. She came here from the Soviet Union. Someone who's going to ask me to believe Fiona Hill or Caitlin Johnstone. So, Fiona Hill's position from a woman who advised Donald Trump on the Soviet Union, who on Russia, and who sat in on meetings with Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump together. She insists that it's Donald Trump's foreign policy that gave Russia the idea or emboldened them to invade the Ukraine. So this is what she said. I'm going to read just a couple of these paragraphs to you, and I'm going to put this article in here. And I have been listening to Fiona Hill for quite some time. She said Trump's foreign policy had not been driven by concern about the U.S. national interest, but by personal interest and impulses. That's a perfect description for Donald Trump. Quote, "There's no Team America for Trump," Hill said. "Not once did I see him do anything to put America first. Not once. Not for a single second." There's more. Hill recalled Trump's praise for Russia's authoritarian leader, Vladimir Putin, as well as his disdain for NATO. So, you know, when you signal that to Vladimir Putin, he's going to take advantage because he's smarter than Trump. She also mentioned his campaign to pressure Ukraine for manufactured dirt about Biden in the run-up to the 2020 election. The Ukraine pressure campaign saw Trump threaten to withhold military aid from the nation, which led to his first impeachment. I hope you people are paying attention to this. Quote, "All this did was say to Russia that Ukraine was a playground," Hill said, drawing a direct line to events today as Russia has amassed a huge military force around Ukraine, prompting fears in the U.S. and European countries that a military strike is imminent. As we now know, it did happen this week. She testified during Trump's 2019 impeachment. She rebutted conspiracy theories promoted by Trump allies that sought to excuse Russia of blame for interfering in the 2016 election and explaining how Russia was seeking to sow domestic discord in the U.S. We have said this. We have said this before about Russia wanting to destroy us from the inside. We know that Russia put up fake accounts all over social media to amplify the anti-vax message. We know this. We did a whole show on this. We had evidence for all of this. Okay? We also know that Russia had fake accounts all over social media during the 2016 election. In what article I will put in here, it was admitted by Russia, by somebody in Russia, I can't remember the gentleman's name right now, that they intended to give Hillary Clinton a black eye, but they never dreamed that Donald Trump was going to win. Well, we took care of that here, didn't we? Yeah, we did. And so did Russia. Russia is a propaganda machine. We have done entire streams on the Sunday night streams on Russia's propaganda machine and how it works, and how RT, one of your most venerable sources because of the people who camp out there like Chris Hedges and Lee Camp and some of the news people who couldn't make it here in the United States. John Kiriakou, former CIA agent, making money on Sputnik, which is a spin-off of RT. That is what we call Russian state-funded, led media. And yes, Vladimir Putin uses it. Because here's what happens. RT is seen by millions of people here, and it's also seen in Russia. And what we have basically is Chris Hedges and Lee Camp and John Kiriakou criticizing who? The United States. But you will note that none of them ever criticize Vladimir Putin or Russia. We had an entire show done on this. We had one gentleman who went to work there thinking he was going to be free to speak. He ended up leaving his contract because he was told to do something he could not possibly do, which was basically make up news. So all of your truthers here, they're truthers of convenience. They're making money on RT because they can't make money here. You are not free on RT. You're free to criticize the United States, but you're not free to criticize Russia. So I call those people, the Lee Camps of the world, the people who spend their time on RT, who come to you live, on Contact. All of these people, Putin's convenient stooges. And we have his stooges in the GOP. I got one for you right here. I'm going to put all this stuff in. I am not actually going to put in, I'm not going to actually go over every page here, okay? We have useful idiots in the Republican Party. Okay? We have a woman named Elise Stefanik. She's the third-ranking Republican in the House. I believe that, when they shunted Liz Cheney out for daring to stand up to the Lord and Master of the Republican Party, who would not grovel in his wake, Elise Stefanik took her place. Now, it is just true that some people on the GOP side, most notably Mike Pence, actually do get what's going on in the Ukraine and has openly stated that Biden needs to keep the allies together and keep the sanctions going. Fiona Hill herself said that this is going to be a long siege and it's going to be up to Joe Biden to keep resolve with the allies, to keep them all standing together. Nobody is behind Putin here. Now, maybe Candace Owen is because she suggested that the United States invade Canada to get rid of the tyrant named Justin Trudeau. But I'm going to talk to you about this. These people are mentally ill. I'm sorry. I guess it's okay if we intervene where the right wants us to intervene. She is calling Joe Biden weak. After just 1 year of a weak, feckless, and unfit president of the United States and commander-in-chief, the world is less safe. Rather than peace through strength, we are witnessing Joe Biden's foreign policy of war through weakness. Elise Stefanik can shut the fuck up. You know what? Let's get some facts straight. I put this in a freaking video the other day. Donald Trump bootlicked every dictator on the planet. Vladimir Putin was numero uno. He took love letters from Kim Jong-un home with him to Mar-a-Lago from the White House, okay? He endorsed Jair Bolsonaro, the dictator of Brazil. He loved Duterte. He admired strongmen because he wants to be a strongman. And you're going to call Joe Biden weak? You must be kidding me. You can't twist facts much more than that. I don't consider Joe Biden weak. I consider Donald Trump played by every dictator on the planet. Get a grip, people. Understand why we are where we are in history. It has nothing to do with Joe Biden. It has everything to do with our little fucking dime store dictator. A man who was impeached twice. And I'm going to read some facts to you right now before I close this out about just what Donald Trump was all about. This came from Rachel Maddow's show. And you might not like Rachel Maddow. I know it's very popular to dislike Rachel Maddow. We went through that period of time as well. We got over all of that. And I'm glad we did. I'm very happy to be where I am right now. But these are all statements of fact that can be backed up by evidence. Trump had to pardon his campaign chairman, his campaign manager, his longest-standing political advisor, his national security advisor, and the deputy chair of his inaugural committee. His deputy campaign chairman went to prison. His personal lawyer went to prison. His other personal lawyer is under federal criminal investigation. That would be Rudy Giuliani. And he himself personally is named by prosecutors as an unindicted co-conspirator in multiple federal felonies. He is being forced right now to testify in New York with his family. Oh, and he's personally currently actively under criminal investigation in 2 different states. These are statements of fact. Do not ever try to pull that shit with me. And do not ever think that I'm going to believe the prognostications of talking heads when I have people who are experts in the field. Sorry, folks. For me, this isn't a question of flag waving and loving my country, but you know what? I deal in facts, and I look for facts, and I verify facts, and I verify every source I publish. I absolutely do not automatically share memes with information in it. Sorry. I think memes are the downfall of society. When people now want their facts for the day, they go to fucking social media. Poison. I'll talk to you all later. Have a great day. Oops. I think I forgot to turn this off.